Hey guys, what is going on? This is Cardinal5, and I want to bring you guys another MLB The Show 17 Diamond Dynasty tip video. In this video, I want to talk about some budget beast. These are mainly going to be bronzes. There's going to be a couple silvers as well, but I know it looks like the first events is going to be bronze players only. I'm not sure if that's confirmed, so I'm going to give you guys some good bronze players. I am going to show you guys a couple good silver players you can get early on as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so first I want to talk about some outfielders. Chris Davis, there's actually a few Chris Davis cards. This card is pretty much straight up power, not going to have great fielding. He's a left fielder. You can see these quirks is things you want to start paying attention to. Road Warrior and Night Player. So almost everybody plays night games, almost everybody. And Road Warrior, so that's half your games. So probably more over half your games he's going to get a slight boost to his PCI. His contact's kind of low, but you know, if he gets a slight boost to his PCI, it's really like his contact is in the 60s. And his vision goes up a little bit as well, but great power hitter. And then we also have the breakout year for Chris Davis, pretty similar, a little bit lower contact but more power. And he doesn't have as good of quirks though, so maybe the live series one is better. Center fielder Jock Peterson is going to be a solid left-handed bat. He has a little bit of power versus lefties, but you're really going to be struggling versus lefties with that plate vision and contact. But simply 90 power versus lefties, especially early on, whether you're playing Battle Royale events or head-to-head. It's going to start off veteran or all-star, so the PCI is not going to be that huge of a deal, so I'm going to put a little bit more emphasis on power. Take a look at his quirks. He has first pitch hitter, so be aggressive with him. You probably do want to be aggressive with somebody like this because his PCI is so small you don't want to fall behind. And he's also actually a good situational hitter. Gets a situational hitter perk, excels at driving in runner from third or less than 2 outs, which is kind of surprising for a guy that strikes out a lot. But definitely a guy you want to check out early on. Alright guys, so this is possibly going to be one of the best bronze cards, if not the best bronze card. If you change him to a left fielder, he becomes a gold. This is Franklin Gutierrez. He has 91 power versus both sides. This is probably a card you want to take advantage of early. I'm not sure if this was a mistake on SDS's part, but definitely the first few days you want to take advantage of this card. And let's look at his quirks. He only has the bomber quirk, so nothing really added. But you also take a look at his fielding, and it's very solid. So you could definitely pick this card up in Jock Peterson. But this card's better, in my opinion, than Jock Peterson. That's an absolute beast of a card, in my opinion. Probably the best bronze card in the game right now, hands down. Alright, so I'm going to take a look at a few shortstops. Now, I'm a Cardinals fan, so of course I know a little bit about my boy Diaz, but I do want to show you guys why I think this card is going to be very useful early on. He's a 79 overall, but in my opinion he's pretty much a silver. He has good contact, as you can see there. It's 80 versus righties, 78 versus lefties, a little bit of pop in the 50s, and also pretty good plate vision, doesn't strike out much. Fielding is so-so, but you know, whatever. It's good enough to get the job done. He's not going to make spectacular plays. But what really makes this card stand out, in my opinion, is the amount of active player quirks he is going to have. So hitting machine, it looks like that's just based off contact. But then he has these other ones. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 active player quirks that are going to have applicable bonuses during gameplay. So Road Warrior, so half the games right there, he's going to get a PCI boost. Unfazed, 2 strikes, get a PCI boost. Breaking ball hitter, PCI boost. That's almost half the pitches in the game. And again, I'm not sure if breaking ball hitter applies to all off speed or just breaking ball, because I don't think they have one for changeups. Rally monkey performs better when team is behind. So if you're behind, PCI boost. Situational hitter, if you have a runner on third, less than 2 outs, PCI boost. A lot of potential there with this card, and this is really why, again, overalls didn't really mean much, or they didn't mean everything in previous MLB The Shows. That is even truer this year, because you have to think about the player quirks in the back of your mind. It's really added value that is not shown in his overall. Alright, another excellent option at shortstop, or second or third, wherever you want to play him, is going to be Trevor Story. He has really good power. Contact's kind of low. He's kind of the opposite of Diaz. A little bit more power than contact, but definitely going to be a great option on day one. And he has pretty similar fielding to Diaz as well. Let's take a look at his player quirks. Again, he has 3 applicable ones. So homebody, so that's half your game. Snipe player, that's another half your game. So probably at least 2/3 of your games or more, he's going to be getting a PCI boost. And then breaking ball hitter, he's going to hit breaking balls really well. That's probably because at cores the breaking balls don't break too much, but hey, that's okay. So 3 active player quirks for a bronze player, and again, this is really more like a silver. You also have to account for that shortstops, they don't put as much emphasis on power as much as they do contact. In my opinion, Aledmys Diaz and Story are really silvers, so make sure you guys get your hands on both of those cards. Alright, we're going to take a look at some third baseman. Danny Valencia, always one of my favorite cards. It was a great platoon option last year. Still going to be a good platoon option this year. He actually hits righties, it looks like. Well, he hit some decent, about the same as last year, I suppose. He can also play his first base, left field, or right field for you. And his player quirks, he does have a few to active player quirks, Road Warrior and Dead Red. So he's going to keep, he's going to do real well at hitting fastballs. So if you have a lefty that likes to throw a lot of fastballs, David Price, he's going to have an advantage versus him. And also playing on the road, he's going to have an advantage. So definitely a nice little card you can have off the bench versus left-handed pitching. And then, of course, Jake Lamb, one of my favorite cards last year. I'm surprised his contact and power versus righties isn't a tad bit higher. Nonetheless, though, this is going to be a great option to start because most of the time you're going to be facing right-handed pitchers. And then you could have Danny Valencia on the bench, and put him in if they bring in a lefty. A nice little platoon option you can have. And some of the quirks he has, of course, he has the platoon quirk. And then he has homebody, first pitch hitter, and fighter. So 3 of those are going to actually give him small bonuses. So if he plays at home, if you swing at the first pitch, which I don't always recommend doing, just look for a good pitch early on in the count to drive, and if you get it, you get a little bonus. And then in the 9th inning or better, he's also going to get a small PCI bonus. So that might also be very helpful for Jake Lamb to be a good pinch hitter for your team late in the game. Alright, so next we're going to look at some first basemen, and my goodness, there are a lot of solid bronze first basemen that can absolutely hit, so I don't want to put too many in there. Just, guys, it's not going to be hard to find a good first baseman that has some power or contact, whatever you're looking for. Just keep in mind, you're going to take a penalty, whether it's on speed or defense, and my first one I want to talk about is this rookie, Greg Bird, 94 power versus righties. That's pretty much what he has. He's going to be good against righties, so if you want to use him off the bench or start him or get him in BR, whatever, it's going to be a valuable asset nonetheless, pretty much a platoon option. Another card I want to talk about, and I'm personally always a fan of this card, but do be warned that this card is going to have an awfully small PCI with his contact and plate vision. The one cool thing about this card is not only can he play first base, he can play left field, right field. He can't do it too well, but hey, this card has 92, 94 power versus righties and lefties. The fielding it's not great at all, but I mean he could probably hold his own at first. Left field, right field is going to be slow. But let's take a look at some of his quirks. He does have home body. The other ones are just based off his attributes. But the home body plays better when playing at home. So almost half the games he's going to be getting a small PCI boost, which is going to be very helpful. And you have to keep in mind these tips are for early on in Diamond Dynasty, and you're going to be playing on the easier difficulties at first, especially if you just play BR where it's on All-Star. The PCI is not going to be that big of a deal. This is definitely a card you want to check out though if you feel confident getting the PCI on the ball because he has a ton of power. Alright, so this is one of our first switch hitters we're going to go over, and this is going to be an easy card to obtain awfully early. It doesn't have the sexiest attributes, but this is a card that you could just get on day one and not have to platoon. He's pretty balanced. He hits lefties a little bit better, but he does have more power versus righties, so there is some good balance in this card that you could add to your lineup, or if you just want to draft him in BR. It doesn't have any speed or stealing, and the fielding is so-so, and he has no quirks, but just a balanced, solid overall card if you guys are looking for good switch hitters to get early on. And then next we also have this breakout Ike Davis, a 75 overall bronze, pretty similar to the Greg Bird. Pretty much just hits righties really well. He's got a little bit better fielding than the other first baseman we've talked about, and he has no player quirks, but again, he's only 75 overall, and it's going to be an easy card to obtain whether in DD, head-to-head ranked seasons, events, or Battle Royale, so definitely give this card a look at. And finally, a great platoon option to put at first base or just to come off the bench is going to be Billy Butler. Absolutely kills lefties. Righties, so-so, but I mean, this is a card you probably want to have on your bench. I probably wouldn't start him unless you just really want to protect a couple of your lefties, but this is one of the few cards that absolutely just destroys lefties, and he's only 74 overall. He's going to be extremely cheap. You could put him on your bench really easily, and also, again, we're talking about events and Battle Royale as well, so definitely great, valuable bronze budget cards here. Alright, next I want to go over some relievers with you guys. I'm not going to go over too many. The main thing you want to look at for relievers is the per-nines and the pitch repertoire. Usually you want a pitch like a slider and a changeup. You don't want guys that have like 4-seam, 2-seam, curveball only, but I'm going to give you guys a few recommendations for some bronze guys you can get earlier. The first one is going to be Zach Duke. Has a funky delivery. He's going to be good against lefties. As you can see there, he has 94 break, either on his curveball or slider. He doesn't throw particularly hard, but he does have good breaking ball pitches, and his per-nines are very solid. So, and he also has 5 pitches, so he'll be able to pitch to lefties and righties. Just a bronze, a good bronze card to check out early on. And probably one of the best bronze relievers in the game is going to be Carl Edwards Jr. The one downside of this card is he doesn't have a slider, but he does come with 4 pitches, a 4-seam curve, changeup, 2-seam, and I know he can throw pretty hard. So definitely want to check out this card. This card has some of the best per-nines for any bronze reliever out there. I think he probably does have the best per-nines for relievers or closers in the bronze tier. Alright guys, so I know this is a silver card, but I pitched with this card already online, and this card is an absolute beast. The difference between this card this year compared to last year is now he has a changeup instead of a cutter. He has arguably the best pitch repertoire you can ask for, maybe with the exception of adding a sinker instead of a 2-seamer. But he throws absolute gas. His 2-seamer, I've seen it hit up to 98, 99, and his 4-seam, I believe I hit 100 with it, but he's going to be throwing 98 plus the whole game with a good slider and a good curveball. As you can see there, he's got 93 break. So I don't know if that's a slider or a curveball. If you want to look at his quirks, he doesn't really have any. He just excels limiting home runs. This is based off runs per 9. His hits per 9 is solid. His K per 9 is not the greatest, but again, I think one of the most important things about these budget players, budget pitchers especially, is can they throw hard? And this guy can throw. Not only can he throw hard, but he has 5 pitches. So definitely give him a look at. Of course, I always like to bring up Carlos Martinez. His per-nines are kind of low, and I know being a Cardinal fan, watching him a lot, he pitches a lot more to contact in the past. But if you guys watched him in the WBC, you can see he was just routinely hitting 100 when he wanted. So on the game, he can throw extremely hard. He has a very good slider. Looks like he has 92 break on his slider, and he's got a 2-seam and circle change. Just a solid pitcher. Can get lefties out with that circle change, get righties out with a slider. I'd look for this card to jump up to a gold. Honestly, he stepped up as the Cardinals' ace, and I think he's going to look to strike out more guys this year, and I could definitely see those per-nines going up. He had a really good ERA last year, so I think those per-nines are definitely on the way up. Danny Salazar, again, another good silver budget player. I thought he was good last year, and he was a gold most of the year, I do believe. He comes with a 4-seam, changeup, sinker, and slider, so he does have a sinker this year. I know he has a good break on his slider, and this card, he can throw hard as well. He can hit up to 97, 98, and so he has the illusionist. So it's his changeup probably that has the 88 break. But yeah, definitely a great silver budget beast to check out in MLB The Show 17. Another great starting pitcher is Steven Matz, 84 overall. So he has a sinker, curveball, change, 4-seam slider. Pretty much the best pitch repertoire you can ask for out of a starter. He's probably going to be a gold if he just does somewhat decent this year. His per-nines are kind of low, but he throws really hard too. He can throw 95, 96 plus, got a good sinker, and has a good changeup. So definitely a card you guys want to check out, and he also performs better in day games. So keep that in mind. If you put him in a rotation, you might want to try to play more day games. And finally, our last budget beast. Unfortunately, Alex Reyes is out for the year, but this is by far the best bronze starting pitcher, just by per-nines alone. I don't put as much emphasis on stamina in an online ranked game because most people don't really work the count that well, and you want to get to your bullpen as quick as possible in most cases. So he's going to be able to give you a solid 6-7 innings if you're efficient. He can throw, I don't know if he can touch 100 on the game, but last year, he could throw 97, 98. He'd probably be able to throw the same or if not harder this year. But those per-nines alone is going to make him very valuable. So if you guys see this card in Battle Royale, draft him. If you guys have a chance to get him in events or head-to-head ranked seasons, get him as early as you can. Definitely the best bronze starting pitcher in my opinion. And that's going to do it, guys, for the budget players you guys should obtain for your Diamond Dynasty team. Again, whether it's events, Battle Royale, or head-to-head ranked seasons. Thanks for watching the video. This is Cardinal Number 5 signing out. Peace.